Hey guys, it's Barb with Inspire Me 360. Man, it is so cold out here. My goodness, my hands are just freezing. So, in this video, I want to talk about the new year and what is up and coming, what you want to create, just really taking the time to infuse you with that light, love, positive energy. I know this is so much how I am feeling about this year. I don't think I have ever started the year off in a more positive mindset, and also just in a more, really expanded state. So I want to share that energy with you. And for me, my mantra is, new year, new you. It's just time for me to finally let go of all of the heaviness that I have carried with me. And not that there was a lot, but there was enough, and it's just time for all of it to fall away. And that's really what I'm focusing on for 2024, is every aspect of my life, just reassembling it in the most beautiful way, and being expectant of that. I think a lot of times we layer these very limiting beliefs on ourselves, and what this does is make us expectant of a lackluster outcome. And when we expect kind of a not very good outcome, that's often what we get. And so I'm not blaming this on myself or anyone. I think it's programmed into us to not want for too much, or not reach for too much, because again, we might get hurt, or we might be disappointed. We may not reach the goals that we're hoping to attain. But this is, again, very limiting belief system, and again, that's self-limiting. So really, if you look around, if you look at human history, if you look at other individuals that are existing on planet Earth and what they've been able to achieve, you can see a multitude of examples of individuals that have really broken barriers, that have done incredible things, and they're no different than you or I or anybody out there. So what really limits any given person is their mind, is their expectation of what they can do. Actually, when I was in Costa Rica just a few weeks ago, we were talking about courage and fear, and what really is the difference between, the courageous man and the man that is the coward, man or woman. I'm just using that, basically, it's the difference is they're both afraid. Both the individuals that, embark upon anything are afraid inside before they know they can do something. But it is the courageous individual goes ahead and does it anyways. And that's really the definition of courage, is that despite everything that you may know or that you may have experienced, you go and you jump in and you dive in anyways, and you don't fear the consequences. You don't really even think too much about it. You just act, or you move towards the things that your heart desires. So again, let's get rid of those limiting beliefs. Anything that is holding you back, any fear that is holding you back, let that go. It's not necessary, and it's ruining your life. Fear of anything, fear of being who you're meant to be, expressing that true core soul frequency, fear of taking that next step, or moving towards people that you really care about, for fear that they might reject you. Any of these really outdated fears, letting them go and not being limited by these things that maybe previously limited you, limited your own joy and happiness and experience of this lifetime. For me, it's going to be really leaning into my dreams, and hopefully for you as well. That means every crazy thing that you've ever imagined, just go for it. Don't worry about what people think. That is so important. And when you're leaning into your life path, your dream relationships, your goals, doing it in a way that is very fearless. It is that you silence all of the voices. So there's going to be external voices that are saying to you, you know what, you're not good enough, you're too old, this isn't for you, you're not capable, you've never created this skill set before. And there's going to be those internal voices that are mimicking what people, you know, on the external world might be saying to you. And just lean into your dreams. Don't, you know, silence those voices, internal or external, and live from your heart instead of your mind. The mind is always going to throw up reasons and logic and things that are going to try to stifle your dreams. Just don't allow it to happen. And another way that you can really lean into your dreams and your goals is by doing. I am a huge doer. I don't stop moving. I'm always working on something. And this is a way that you're really showing up for your own dreams. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to be hard. There's going to be obstacles you have to overcome. And not all of it is easy. Actually, a lot of it is not easy. I know I'm branching into some really big new things that I've never done before for 2024. And it's a learning curve. Like, I'm having to learn all of these new skills. It's a lot of studying. It's a lot of late night studying. And really trying to wrap my brain around, you know, things that I've never done before. And in and of that, there's going to be times where, because it's a new skill, it's a little frustrating that you're not really great at it, or you don't have the comprehension right off the bat. But that's how we grow, that's how we expand, and that's how we actually see our goals to fruition, is by breaking through these boundaries and pushing ourselves. The more that we push ourselves, the greater we become. And that goes for those things that are mental, those things that are physical. I know another really important thing that I'm focusing on is massive transition in my own health journey. I've always been fairly healthy, but I'm taking it to the next level this year. Everything, you know, from when I was, you know, in my earlier days, I used to do a lot of sort of fitness competition, and I was just in the best shape of my life. I'm getting back into that. You know I've done it once, I can do it again. But now I'm taking a different focus, you know, in terms of the goals. And you have to ask yourself, you know, what are your goals? I'm making a lot of my goals about experiences. So, you know, really getting into the horseback riding, really getting into, I really want to learn to surf because, of course, I have a place in Costa Rica. So it's exciting, you know, it's exciting to dive into what the body can do, pushing the body to its limits. And I think that's really fun as well. So figuring out what those life path goals are, your dreams, and making sure that anything that's in your subconscious that, you know, is old programming, to diligently be working on moving it out of your experience, okay? Because a lot of that stuff, a lot of our past traumas, a lot of the limiting beliefs, the things that maybe are not in alignment with self-love, are trapped in our subconscious, and they're programs that have been running throughout our entire lives that have been holding us back. And a lot of them were put there by, you know, society, by different rules, different religions, what our parents have taught us, expectations that, again, are layered onto us that prevent us from feeling the breadth and the totality of our authentic selves. And so, again, it's just something that I really feel inspired to be doing this year. It's not that I'm pushing aside spirituality or I'm, you know, against any certain dogma or ideology. Not at all. You know, it's more about an expansion and more about really loving every piece and part of who I am and what the world is at large. And I don't think that that's a negative message at all. I think for most of my life, I was taught that too much self-love was a bad thing, that was egotistical, or, you know, that I shouldn't be in love with myself, or I shouldn't be liking myself too much. And I think that that's a really outdated program, that the more love you have, the more love you emanate, and not in an egotistical way, in circling back to service. You know, circling back to being in service of others, but in a balanced way. So serving when your cup is full. So after you've done everything to fill yourself and you are just bursting with all of this fabulous magnetic energy, that's when you show up for the world and you can give in such a more exponential way when you have this energy. Because when you're trying to give to the world, when you're drained, when you're tired, when you're depleted, you're just actually chipping away at your beautiful spirit. You just really don't have that to give. And I know last year was really difficult for me. Some major deaths in my family, a lot of loss, and it trickled over to me losing my sense of who I was and really feeling extremely low and kind of devaluing myself. And not that I meant to do that. Sometimes, especially when you go through loss, you can lose a part of yourself in that loss, and it becomes an opportunity. Grief isn't a downfall. It becomes an opportunity for you to reacclimate and really remember what is important to you. Because again, what I realized about 2023 is it was, for me, a major breaking down of my egoic self. I had to break everything down and be so terribly broken to get to the point where I needed to rebuild. But now in the rebuilding of myself, I get to do it, perfectly and with so much more wisdom. Because I think in my previous experience of self, I wasn't really diligent or calculating or wise about how I was constructing it. And now, in my later years, now I can be, very, very articulate about what I want to utilize and also who I want to bring along my journey, being a little bit more discerning about that as well. Now, in terms of what else is on the horizon for 2024, I think for myself, and I'm sharing this hopefully in some sort of an inspirational way, is really making sure that those individuals that are in my attention, that I'm sharing myself with, are high vibrational, really inspirational individuals. Because again, remember that who you surround yourself with is really who you become. So I have spent a lot of my life trying to lift others up, but also that's a little bit difficult because there was nobody really paying attention to lifting me up. And what I'm doing is I am refocusing on finding and seeking out individuals that have, maybe surpassed what I've done in terms of knowledge, and getting, finding that tribe that inspires, a greater expansion of myself. And to do that, you can do it through spirituality, you can do it through literature, you can do it through learning, higher education, but then pay attention to where you find those people. Because again, sometimes we're looking for this inspiration in all the wrong places. You're not going to find, really inspired conversation at a nightclub. You need to go to where people that, have expanded their consciousness are. So the artisans, the universities, getting into places where this kind of energy just naturally exists, and also integrating yourself into society. A lot of people I know post-COVID kind of got into the doldrums, this mediocrity, and really almost pulling themselves out of society. And I really feel that 2024 is about reintegration and really getting out and experiencing the beauty of culture and travel and adventure and those new experiences, because life is absolutely jam-packed full of amazing experiences, but you have to go out and seek them out. You have to be willing to seek out that adventure. And bravely join groups and reach out to people, because without a little bit of this forward moving momentum, you're not going to get anywhere. You have to have the courage to meet new people and try new things and, get out of this isolated, fear-based attitude. And again, I think so many people went into this little cocoon in terms of COVID, and I think it was purposeful. I think it was a good global reset, but 2024 just feels like this, incredible energy of newness and transformation and transmutation of, I think, some really old, stuck, dense energy into some really beautiful, new, incredible energy. So, if there is anything that you can take from this video, it would just be really acclimating yourself towards this incredibly dynamic, new, fresh energy. So I am going to go in and have a nice warm cup of tea and get out of the cold. It is very chilly here in Canada, about minus 18, I think, a couple feet of snow here. But again, love it, love the seasons, love the transition. So grateful, again, just coming from Costa Rica and being in the beautiful sun there, to now this very beautiful snowscape here in Canada just fills me with so much gratitude. There's just not a day that goes by that I am not in awe of how beautiful planet Earth is and just how lucky we are to be living. So we will see you in the next video, and wishing all of you a very incredible 2024.